And starting really easy here, let's take a basic twist. So you're gonna adjust and scooch your hips just a little bit to your right. You can always bring your feet down to assist. Knees come back to the chest, reaching right, knees fall left. And maybe place a block under your outer thigh and or between the inner knees, inner thighs to support the lower back more. And of course, if the legs are hovering, that's fine, just not making any extra pressure, not creating any extra pressure where we don't need it already. And with that said, you could bend your right elbow and look to the right. You could keep your head neutral, keep the arm extended. Any combination of movement to help open up the right side of the chest, even putting a prop under that right arm. Stay with it a little bit longer here, trying to unwind your spine, these areas that tend to be stiff between the shoulder, the chest, the torso, and the upper legs. Then take both arms out wide, maybe palms down so they can help you climb up. And then just for a moment, rock it out, sway it out. Getting into that second side, feet could come down, scooching your hips a little bit left. Do draw the knees closer to you, reaching left. Ease the knees right, maybe using the block, any other props like a pillow, a blanket. And under the outer leg, between the knees, and or under that left arm, that left shoulder region. You can cactus it. You could choose to look left as the knees and feet move further right. You can also stick with the head in neutral, stick with the extended arm. Finding that combination that's really working for you right now. Staying just a little bit longer, somewhere around a minute or so on each side. Letting yourself breathe a little bit more completely. Confronting and releasing that sticky stuff in the chest, the shoulder, maybe the hip or low back region. Arms can move wide, palms maybe facing down, helping you climb up. And this time, when you come to knees at the chest, join the big toes, one hand on each knee. Circle the legs a few times each way. Let your arms do more of the work than your legs. Maybe a little tuck of the chin so we're not cranking the neck. Then bringing your knees back to neutral. Do separate the knees and ankles a few inches, maybe 9, 10, 12 centimeters-ish. Turn your toes up, glide your shoulder blades down. And for the next couple of exhales, pump the legs towards you and away from you. And then do reach your heels up to the sky. Palms down to the ground. Noting you're going to take it real easy if the hip flexors or the lower spine are tender. Maybe go a little bit further sooner than later if you're feeling pretty good. Inhale in neutral. Exhale, lower just the right heel. Could be as easy as halfway, as far as almost all of the way. Point the foot, inhale, lift the leg. Left heel lowers. Point that foot, inhale, lift your leg. Now both heels lower. Point the feet and lift. So halfway could even be too far. Maybe it's a third of the way or less. Maybe you're going so far that you're just hovering with that heel. Filling out the inhale, filling out the exhale. If you haven't already, leading with that left leg instead of the right. If you already alternated, wonderful. At least exploring that other side once or twice as far as leading. And if you've lost your way, maybe one more time. Right, left, and then both, or left, right, then both. And then after you finish up this last yoga style leg lift, draw the knees in. Big sigh, maybe flutter your lips out. And then separate your knees wider. Elbows to the inner knee, hands to your outer ankles or feet. Take it to a happy baby. Let's take the hands purposely away from the outer feet, at least for a moment, where they're holding again higher up the leg, toward the ankles, shins, even the upper shin toward the knee. And just circle your feet a few times each way. Wiggle your toes if that's helpful. Wake up the areas that do feel a little stiff, sore, sleepy. And then let's start to rock from right to left, where your head moves the opposite way as your hips. Hands could walk higher, closer to the outer feet, maybe reaching to the baby toes. Heels maybe needing to draw back. And you return to neutral for a moment or two. Legs could extend wide. They certainly don't have to. Taking any variations, all the variations, but not feeling rushed. One more inhale and exhale, just letting that stretch happen. Giving in to gravity. Take your hands toward your outer legs. Let's press the feet in. Knees come to your chest. To challenge your core more, let's rock and roll. If you're feeling vulnerable, the lower back, the hip flexors are tight, turning to one side, pushing yourself up might feel best. Even if you have a neck thing going on, I found that the rock and rolls might not be ideal. So a few of these or not. Maybe hovering in a boat or building that boat for these last breaths. Adding or subtracting anything based on what you're feeling. And then do start to move toward tabletop, crisscrossing or swinging legs around. Pad your knees if they're a little tender. Brighten your fingers, especially your thumbs, your pinkies. So let yourself wiggle it out, sway the body toward neutral alignment. One more breath, finding that table. Strong foundation first. Inhale from there. Exhale, root to rise. Scoop your belly, chin toward your chest. Inhaling, we're arching. Exhaling, we're rounding. And do take that one more time. Hovering for another breath, 2 if you need to. Continuing to flow if you need to through that basic cat-cow. For this time, inhale, arch to the right, looking right. Scoop the belly, chin toward chest. Inhale, arching, gazing left. Exhale, rounding, chin still toward chest. One more each direction. Slowing it down or speeding it up. Maybe returning to the side or hovering in that side that needs some more time, some more space. And then bring it all back to neutral. From here, do walk your hands further forward, knees maybe a little bit further back. Swaying, rocking your way towards some Sufi circles. Bring it forward and around with your next inhale. Back and around with that exhale. Confronting, releasing the stuff that needs to go. Breathing it out where you can. Sticking with the ocean sounding breath in and out through the nose if it's feeling okay. Building extra heat in that way. And again, weaving things in or out when that's what makes sense. And I'll be giving you a couple of options coming up with more pranayam. So again, taking care of you. Do come through neutral, maybe a brief turtle or child's pose on your way there. You're going to move to kneeling, sitting it up over the next inhale or two, rolling it up if that works. Walking your feet, your knees to a hip width setup. And then allow your arms to release slightly forward toward the upper knees, lower thigh region. Shrug and release a few times. Loosening up where you feel like you need to, sighing it out when you need to. Weaving in something like a horse breath. Even a lion's roar. And then from there, do return to neutral. Letting your hands relax. We're going to spin the palms up, resting one hand in the other. The tips of the thumbs can gently rest on each other. And take a few moments seeing your intention clearly. Setting it for this practice, maybe for this week ahead. So much is out of our control. We're experiencing that, of course, with the weather, as people who often have, most of us have really easy, sunny conditions. It is a good reminder to often slow down, to simplify when in doubt. Maybe that applies to your intention today. And you could lick your lips, swallow. One more big breath, allowing for that animal-inspired exhale if it's effective. And then from there, walk your hands forward, sliding all the way into Anahata, the heart chakra opening pose for a moment. Hips reaching back, your forehead settling down. Take another moment just being here, of course, joining palms, taking the prayer-inspired shape. Elbows maybe slide a little further forward, thumbs reaching back. One more inhale, one more exhale. Release the fingers down, rolling it back up to that kneeling shape. This time circling the arms out and up, deep breath in. Bring your hands toward prayer position, full breath out. We're going to walk both hands back, maybe 6, 7, 8 inches or so. Inhale, lift the hips, the heart. And exhale out everything to release from there. Taking it forward, inhale, heart opening chakra pose, Anahata. Exhale, just rolling it up gradually from there. Walking hands back, inhale, lift the hips, the heart, expanding. Exhale, releasing. Inhaling, take the arms out and up. And then just bringing your hands down, one to the belly, one to your chest, connecting to those energy centers, those chakras. After a breath or two, maybe switch which hands where. One more moment just connecting, feeling that support, that sense of grounding, connecting. And then you're walking your hands forward. Curl your toes, lift your hips, take it all back, downward facing dog. Just for a moment or two, pedal it out, sway it out. Couple of breaths, making it your own. Maybe start to shake your head out. Lingering in stillness with springy knees, active arms. Starting to wake up the quads. Think of lifting them up, reaching your heels back and down. And after 2, 3 breaths, being in that sense of stillness, walk your hands toward your toes. And maybe give your head a little shake yes, a little shake no. Bend your knees a little or a lot. Take a bigger exhale, just softening the ribs, the face, your jaw. Then bring hands to hips, pull the heart forward. Pause at about halfway, exhaling. Feel the belly supporting the low back, abdominals specifically. Root and rise, inhale, take it up. And do take a big exhale when you get to the top. So we're sweeping the arms again out and up, this time staying there. Brighten your fingers. Maybe folding the 8 fingers in, the thumbs wrap around fingers. If you're feeling stiff, sore, you could return to placing hands at the belly, the heart, connecting to those chakras. Consider the heat-building breath of fire, Kapalabhati. Lick your lips, swallow. When you're ready for it, big inhale through the nose and then pumping your belly till you feel empty. Let your arms relax for a moment, maybe switching which hands where. Shoulder roll once, twice, either direction, both directions, one at a time if that feels good. And then consider Kapalabhati Pranayam one more time. Breathing in and out through the nose, noting that inhale is very passive, the exhale is much more obvious. Snapping the belly back without creating strain. So when you're empty, let it be enough. Could be 10, 20, 30, 40 or more pumps. Deep breath in when you feel ready for it if you haven't. You're relaxing. If you feel a little dizzy, lengthen your inhale for a moment. By a moment, it could be a full minute plus being upright without adding much movement. Shoulder rolling, any variations. Joining me in a little neck circling if that's feeling welcome, chin to chest. Moving through the half, 3/4, or full circle. And reversing direction if that applies, changing it up if that's what's needed. Slowing things down when in doubt. And we'll finish up those neck circles or whatever you're doing over the next couple of exhales. Good time to linger at chin to chest. Sigh, clearing anything coming up, mentally, physically, both. Roll it up through the crown. Take your peace fingers to your chin, easing your head on top of shoulders. Shoulders over hips, hips over knees, knees over ankles. Sometimes it sounds obvious, but it's really not what's happening. With our screen time in particular, the head, the neck do tend to jut forward, feeling that balance here on the mat. Maybe using the shoulder roll or two here to allow the shoulder blades to slide onto the back. The collarbones broaden with each inhale. And then bringing that scan down the body to the lower belly, navel hugs in and up with each exhale. A natural occurrence that you're emphasizing. Tailbone lengthening, sternum lifting, helping to bring that pelvis back to neutral. And maybe bending, re-extending knees, brightening toes, to reinvigorate, to reawaken areas that often need it, spots that might lock or jam, sometimes areas that grip, that claw, that do more than they could or should, waking up the muscles around those joints. Bring that with you as you reach up. Keep it with you as you cactus it all out. And keep it with you when you're reaching, maybe gazing up. Maintain the length, dive forward, hinge at the hips, and fold down. Inhale, we expand, opening out. Exhale, contract, essentially folding it all in. Rooting and rising, take up space, slow it down or speed it up based on needs. Exhale, palms to your heart. Again, like that, inhale, reach, feel the skin stretch. Exhale, cactus, open the chest most specifically. Keep that space on the inhale. And you maintain it on the exhale. Building on it with your inhales. Keeping it as you exhale. Deep breath in, take it up, maybe gaze up, only touching palms if it actually feels good. Exhale, hands to your heart. One more time. Inhale, reach up. Cactus shape is your exhale, open it out. Inhale, reaching up. Diving forward, then fold down. This time inhale, chest forward, thighs are pressing back. You're walking it out toward your downward facing dog. Giving yourself that moment to a few breaths to move freely, to stretch and yawn. Any specific pranayama that we've done, or just something that feels needed, a big sigh, a weird sound. Shedding layers. Simplifying. Ease forward to a plank, and maybe that applies to the physical approach here. Knees coming down. Whether it's the wrists, shoulders, your lower back, make life a bit easier. Shifting forward, elbows draw back. Let's start to lower. And you take it all the way down to the belly, at least for the first one. That reminder to stretch the legs back. Everything's about hip bone distance. Feel your feet and pubic bone grounding you. Inhale, we're floating it up. Maybe hands even lift, isolating that spot behind the heart. Exhale to lower to the forehead or one ear. Do a few. Inhale, root and rise. Exhale, release. One more time with that cobra variation. And do let it all go. Maybe the extra exhale this time. An extra weird sound if it's effective. Shimmy your hands back a bit. Considering a more traditional cobra or into Urdhva Mukha, upward facing dog. Linger with me if you can, maybe gazing right, then left. Breathing in. You can use the knees, breathing out, either through a puppy dog, Anahata, the heart chakra opening pose. Balasana, something real chill and easy. Or of course, down dog, maybe dolphin. And then in a moment, a breath, 2 or 3, putting it all together. Not feeling rushed, however, making it your own. Shifting forward, plank, or that modified variation. Exhaling to get halfway or all the way down. Inhaling, building cobra or up dog. Exhaling, pushing back, downward facing dog. You can get right into it again to keep building some heat, some tapas. You can also back off, return to something we did to warm up. Being honest with ourselves, moving accordingly, simplifying when in doubt. Perhaps you do want to keep on flowing. Maybe you're ready for a few wrist rotations, coming up to the knees, returning to that simple kneeling shape, and weaving in some movement to help warm up. Maybe you're weaving in a little sip of water to hydrate. Do what you got to do for another breath. Climbing through a down dog just for an exhale. High on tippy toes, look to hands, step or float. Inhaling, find that half lift. And when you exhale, do fold. Checking in, our feet parallel, even them out if not. Inhale, chest out, find that heart opening quality. Exhale, melting in, finding that stretch in the upper back and all the way down from there. One more time, you inhale. And you exhale. Lingering, soft knees. Active quads, but not feeling like the legs have to straighten. You could put hands on blocks, your own shins or ankles. What is working for you, and do that. Brighten toes, maybe rock and sway once or twice. Still in Uttanasana, last exhale. Then if you're feeling pretty good, maybe roll with me. Otherwise, still lengthening to lift. Easier on the lumbar spine, the lower back. Maybe sigh it out, shimmy it out. Weave in another shoulder roll or two when in doubt. Brighten fingers, palms are spinning forward without adding the peace fingers necessarily. Feel the head draw back, chin level with the earth. Tailbone lengthening, sternum, the crown of you lifting. Maybe lick your lips, swallow to loosen up where we often need to. Letting go some way, somehow. Take your arms all the way up to the sky. Diving forward, exhale, hands all the way down to the earth. Inhaling, lift about halfway. Knees are springy. Stepping or maybe floating it back, you decide. Plank to chaturanga, or of course straight to chaturanga, make it your own. Inhaling toward that back bend, cobra or up dog. Exhaling to take it over the toes. Most likely down dog, but do what you gotta do so it feels welcome in your body today. Sometimes a little more ease, a little more rest. Sometimes a little more energy, fire. This idea of tapas has several translations, one being purification through heat, through sweat. Hips reaching back, look forward, eventually step or hop. Inhale, chest out. Exhale, fold it in. Coming up, inhale. And then hands come down with the exhale. Let's do it again. Reach up. Dive forward, hands come down. Inhale, heart forward. Letting our other foot lead, or of course jumping with both. Finding your way through that flow, chaturanga. Inhaling, cobra or up dog. Push it back, a few breaths, building your posture. Taking what makes sense for you, including a little pranayama, breath work. Mixing it up when in doubt, lion's roars, horse breaths, etc. Loosening up when we need to. Gaze forward, step or hop. Inhale, chest out. And exhale, do Lengthen. Coming up is your inhale. Hands coming down is the exhale. Just observing for a moment, little rock and sway. Do you need to reawaken your toes? Did they get a little claw-like? Scanning from the feet to the crown and back down again, putting in that effort, finding that sense of length. And then allowing for a little more ease, loosening up, using the exhales to assist in that process. And from here, come to your right foot. You start to pick up your left knee. So we're balancing. Some days it feels like no big deal. Other days, boy, is it tricky. You're going to circle that leg a few times, all the way around. Bringing the heel toward the glute and then through the midline. And maybe it takes a full breath, even two for a circle. After you go one direction, we'll say 2 or 3 times today. If you haven't already, reverse it. And if you reversed more than once, that's fine too. In total, 2 or 3 rotations each way. Standing knee is unlocked, the quad is active. You're going to eventually step your left foot way back. Crescent moon. Now I'm kind of wiggling my way to make it easier. Stepping might be harder. Gazing at one spot as much as possible. Hands can stay at hips, just extending and bending once or twice. Maybe 3 times if you're needing it. Moving into a crescent where the arms eventually reach up. Your front thigh is sitting down toward 90. Back leg can stay bent or start to extend. Reaching up, maybe starting to look up. And if you need to modify, back knee comes all the way to the floor. Almost there. Hands could touch. Any mudra or seal. I'm coming to Kali, extending the left thumb over the right. First fingers touch. Then we're going to bring our hands down. Maybe you're using your blocks for pyramid. Back foot travels forward a bit. Couple of breaths to adjust, maybe dropping the heel. Ebbing and flowing your way to a deeper fold, soft right knee. Maybe a flexed right foot. And hands and or that right foot on a block 2 or 3, getting creative, right, with props when important. And try to size something up and out. Choose to release where you can. Not always easy. Maybe this idea of the waterfall effect helps, dropping tension through the crown. Final sigh or 2. Right foot does ground. Make sure you're feeling stable between the left and the right foot. Let's bring the hands to the hips. Pull the heart forward over the next inhale or 2. Root and rise. Take an exhale once you get to the top. Back foot steps forward. Little shake, little shimmy. Whatever you need to do for a moment. And then, of course, side 2. Coming into that balance on your left foot, picking up the right knee. For any reason you did the other side, definitely do both. Circling it out 2 to 3 times one way, then the other. My hands are on hips. Yours could be in an airplane, something else that feels effective. Breathing in, breathing out throughout this rotation, trying to get the heel maybe a little closer to the glute. Not necessarily as easy on one side as the other. And then after you warm up that hip, you're stepping your right foot way back, or kind of shimmying, scooching it back into crescent, eyes staying forward on one spot. Bend, extend once, twice, maybe 3 times. Moving deeper by allowing the arms to eventually come up. The front thigh sits down toward 90. Your back leg might get straighter, your knee could come all the way down to the ground. Make it work for you on side 2, including a mudra or not, right? Simplifying when that's best. Being inspired by each other, by the sequence, but still making it your own. Really being your time on the mat. So much going on around us. Bringing it back to a mantra, a phrase, a word that you can connect with right now. Now hands will come down for pyramid, Parsvattanasana when you're ready for it. We bring the back foot in a bit. Could be a few inches or more. Left foot could also walk a little bit left, widening that setup, right foot a little right, etc. Ebbs and flows of the chest, maybe bending and extending the leg. Easing deeper or not based on the feedback you're getting. Maybe the foot flexes. And I mentioned that prop 2 or 3 under the hands, the foot, 1, the other, or all the above. Letting the waterfall feeling come into the crown of the head, dropping it down, tension being encouraged to go. Feeling your way into that flow state when possible. And the foot will eventually come down, hands will come to hips. An inhale or 2, rooting and rising. An exhale or 2, relaxing when you get to the top. Step the back foot forward. Shake it out, shimmy it out, do what feels right, even a little sip of water. Come back to Tadasana, finding your way to neutral. Maybe bring the hands to your body, or just by your sides. Lick your lips, swallow. Do consider a horse breath, loosening up the jaw, the throat. Maybe the Vishuddha chakra. Slowing down when you need to, simplifying when in doubt. Ujjayi pranayam, ocean sounding inhale. Ocean sounding exhale. Do observe, and then we'll continue to flow. Bend your knees, Utkatasana, chair. Heels heavy, toes a little light, building some of that heat, that tapas. Maybe you sit a little deeper, thighs parallel with the earth. And then grounding down, let's stand it up. And exhale, release the arms. Bending your knees, sit heavy in the heels, reach up as you sit down. Root and rise. Can you find mountain? Try of locking at the knee joints. Now if your lower back, your knees are tender, maybe you don't sit as low. More of a demi chair, no big deal. Halfway. Last 2 to 3 on your own, breathing in, breathing out. Toes light, heels a little heavy. Final chair or 2, finishing up. Maybe you're already there. Do stand tall, scan the body. Weaving in a horse breath, a lion's roar, maybe one of each with me. Moving energy, moving stagnant stuff. Continue encouraging it to go, taking those different options when they make sense. Reach it up. Cactus, shape it all out. Inhale, reach it up. Diving forward, take it down. Inhaling, chest forward. You decide, being good to your body. Step, jump, maybe skip, chaturanga. Meeting in downward facing. And taking that right leg to the sky. Sweeping it up. Roll the hip open. Any basic stuff in the foot, the knee. Maybe getting into flipping out the dog or just something bigger with that hip. A little figure 8 action. And not rushing, simplifying if it makes sense. All the way back to neutral you'll go. And we move to side 2 without expectations of it being like side 1. It most likely will not be. Doing what makes sense for you here. Approaching it with that beginner's mind, even if you've done it many, many, many times. Letting the movement reflect your needs. And just another breath, 2, weaving something in or out that makes sense. High on the balls of your feet, look to hands, step or hop. Inhale, chest out. Exhale, do fold in. Root and rise, take it up. And as you exhale, hands come to Anjali Mudra. Pausing at the heart. Pressing palms to help open across the collarbones to align your spine. Feeling prana, life force flow. One more breath here.